They are making a difference. On 938 Live.
World First Aid Day is happening on the 13th of September, that's this Saturday, to promote first aid as a life-saving skill around the globe and to ensure that a growing number of people and communities anywhere are prepared and equipped to save lives when a disaster or an emergency occurs. And leading up to World First Aid Day, we'll be talking to 3 Singaporean First Aiders to find out how these life-saving skills have changed their lives. First up, we're talking to 23-year-old Ong Wee Chi, who's a qualified First Aider and volunteers with Singapore Red Cross for community first aid duties. When have you felt most under pressure as a First Aider?
I think the only time where I have the most pressure is when I'm working alone. That's one, because when I'm working alone and I see, in cases where there are several casualties around, definitely the pressure is there because I have to do the decision who is the first one to get help and so on and so forth. A few years back, I was actually proceeding home with my friend. Then we managed to pass by a case of a road traffic accident. As a first aid at the time, me and my friend, we went down to go and have a look. My friend wasn't trained in first aid, that's one. So he agreed, so we just went out to have a check. So once we reached the scene, there was actually a total of 4 casualties. 2 were young kids, they were about 5-year-old. Then there was a lady that's still in the car that was semi-conscious. Then after that, the last one was a motorcyclist which was not responding to anything. Yeah, so during that time, I have to make the decision who is the first one to actually go and help out because that guy was totally unresponsive at all. Yeah,
right.
So sometimes it does bring the pressure because at the first time, the police aren't there yet. Until a while later, they managed to come out because the police post was just right opposite.
How do you deal with that kind of responsibility?
To be frank, I was actually quite nervous. Yeah. To be frank, I was actually quite nervous. How do I deal with that? Literally, I just tell myself, okay, look, if I'm not going to do anything to help them, there's nobody else that would do the same thing. And waiting for ambulance to arrive definitely will take quite a long while before they actually arrive at the scene.
In a situation like that, I'm sure though once you have helped and you've done as much as you can to help the people who are in need out, you do feel a sense of accomplishment though.
Definitely I will feel this way because I used to do the job before, even when I'm working. I mean, we can compare this when I was working and when I'm doing a first aid. There are people who appreciate the job and there are people who doesn't. But the good thing is they know that at least we are doing a job as a first aider. They trust us as a first aider. Because for myself, sometimes I will be cycling at East Coast Park itself. Mm-hmm. So there are times where people are injured. I just check with them and ask them, okay, if they're all right and so on and so forth. Just to check because for us, we know that when we're cycling and we had a fall, definitely it will be serious at times, especially when they are colliding with each other. Sometimes when we just do a simple thing like even, just to do a bandage for them, just to, clean up the bloody mess that they have, they will appreciate the job. And that really gives a sense of accomplishment because there are people who is around and they do appreciate what you do even for the smallest thing that you do for them.
Wee Chi, when you go out there on the job, when you're volunteering as a first aider, you don't actually know what to expect most of the time when you're heading out. So what do you actually look forward to when you're going on the job?
We just pray that everything is safe, but I will say that in East Coast Park, sometimes you won't know what you expect. Yeah, there are cases where we do seen before. Normal cycle, those kids are cycling around and they just collided right in front of us. Then after assessment, one of them needs to go to the hospital because of fracture. It might look like nothing to other people who is, just passing by. But for us, we are the only help that is available to them. The same case for drowning cases. We also deal with drowning cases there. Same thing. We are the only help because other people, they will be looking around and, they're not sure what to do. And we are the only person who are trained to do that right now.
How has volunteering with the Red Cross influenced the way you live?
I guess from the start, I was glad I didn't make the wrong choice. Yeah, that's one. Why? Because it made me much more prepared for things to happen just in case. So if anything happens, at least I know what to do. And at the same time, after learning this kind of knowledge, we spread it to the family. We tell them, okay, if you got this kind of small little thing, what you should do and so on and so forth. Don't need to go to a hospital. You don't need to go to the doctor, even for small cuts. You can just clean it up if it's not serious, it's not bleeding. After 10 minutes, you don't need to go to the hospital as well.
Are you always prepared with a first aid kit by your side?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do your friends and family therefore feel safer when you're around?
Definitely, yes. So even when they have questions, they ask me, okay, if there's this kind of injury, how to handle. I also can explain to them as well.
Do you get midnight texts from people who are desperate in need for help, asking you what they should do with their injuries?
Oh, yes, I do. Sometimes I do receive call in the middle of the night asking, I actually can't breathe right now. My parents can't breathe right now. What should I do? And so on and so forth.
That's a lot of responsibility, Weechi. What do you do in a situation like that?
No, the first thing I do is I will definitely ring them up. I'll just ask them, okay, what actually is happening? If it is really, really, really serious, call 995. They can actually help you because the control room over there, they actually tells you what to do. So at least they don't waste time asking me what's the next step. But the 995 control is able to tell them what to do if it's really life-threatening, you see.
You're a good friend to have around, Weechi.
I hope so.
And that was Ong Weechi, a qualified first aider who volunteers with Singapore Red Cross. This has been They Are Making a Difference. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daphne Lim.
They are making a difference on 938 Live.